Innovation being a much debated and written about subject, my attempt will be to give you a practical understanding based on a few examples, which should hopefully leave you with some food for thought in this pre-lunch session. You will wonder why there are no interesting PowerPoint presentations with great visuals, animations, and graphics behind me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, innovation is about thought, and my attempt will be to make you think. I'd recommend you sit back, relax, open your mind to the wonderful world of innovation. So here goes. Amongst the many definitions of innovation, I find the definition used by the Government of Australia to be quite interesting, and I quote from their website. Innovation generally refers to changing or creating more effective processes, products, and ideas, and can increase the likelihood of a business succeeding. Businesses that innovate create more efficient work processes and have better productivity and performance. For businesses, this could mean implementing new ideas, creating dynamic products, or improving your existing services. Innovation can be a catalyst for growth. The success of a business can help you adapt and grow in the marketplace. Being innovative does not mean inventing. Innovation can mean changing your business model and adapting to changes in your environment to deliver better products and services. Successful innovation should be an inbuilt part of your business strategy, where you create a culture of innovation and lead the way in innovative thinking and creative problem solving. Businesses that innovate create more work processes and better productivity and performance. Well, that's what was very nicely put by the Government of Australia, because I felt after researching this a lot that this was a very apt description of what innovation is and what it means to a business. Modern guru of innovation, Steve Jobs, put it quite simply. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Very simple. Distinguishes between a leader and a follower. We sometimes tend to confuse creativity with innovation. A simple quote, I believe, will clear this confusion. Creativity is about thinking of new things, and innovation is doing new things. Tom Preston says that innovation is two things that already exist. You just put them together in a new way. Jamie Nodder says innovation is change that unlocks new value. I believe that innovation leads to creating value for stakeholders of the organization, its customers, its employees, shareholders, and the industry as a whole. Shareholders, and it applies to the business model of an industry or an organization, its product offering, the use of technology, and its processes. So, we have all heard of Apple, Uber, Amazon, Alibaba, Airbnb, Google, and very own OYO Rooms. These are examples of innovative organizations that have redefined business models, revolutionized industry, and redefined customer expectations and experiences. Apple is one of the most talked about ones. I know that may sound a little repetitive, but I will just say because it seems to make sense, because I'm talking about business model innovation. Apple revolutionized the music industry by launching iTunes, which was critical to the success of the iPod. Music on demand and what you pay for, rather than buying a whole album to listen to one song. This later led to the launch of the touchscreen iPod, followed by the iPhone, which everybody knows. Besides the physical phone, the innovation in business model is what it is all about. It's about tying up with the app developers in such a way and offer such a wide variety of apps that it just replaces the need to carry a personal computer and definitely adds additional revenue to the top line. Uber took a relatively unorganized taxi industry and through its business model revolutionized the taxi business, where you as a customer are in control. You're well informed, you feel safe. Booking a taxi, cashless payment, and an experience rating gives the customers control and information that other taxis companies cannot. Did they stop at that? No. They innovated further and launched Uber Select, which offers premium cars and limousine services. They looked at a very basic business and saw opportunity in offering the customers control, which has led to their phenomenal success. Airbnb identified a gap through the use of technology, which allowed the landlords and guests, again, control. Rating of guests was a unique innovation which gave the confidence to the landlords to rent out the premises for short durations to relatively unknown people. In our industry, we have seen innovative approaches in the form of smart controls, which my colleague Dilip spoke about, which essentially allows you to download an app and use a smartphone to check in, order services, control air conditioning, lighting, access to your room, hotel facilities, etc. It's a boon to the needs of a millennial guest, those guests who are born between 1980 and 1990. And I expect you to spend over $200 billion in a year. The use of beacons allows you to track a guest in your hotel and guide him or her to use your facilities by sending promotional messages onto the smartphone when they're close to one. Some use beacons to streamline the check-in process, allow staff to greet the guest by name, and notify housekeeping to service guest rooms when the guests step out of the hotel. All this helps to provide data. Again, we talk about big data. All this helps us to provide data which can be analyzed to provide customized services and products to guests. Use of virtual reality and value-added technology can make hotel visits easier, personalized, and simplified for a guest. Hotel groups, and we have heard about it earlier today, are investing heavily to innovate guest experiences, whether it is in fitness, dining, or even design of public spaces like lobbies and food and beverage outlets. At the Taj, we have made innovative changes to our product offering and business model by launching Ginger Hotels, Smart Basic Hotels, and Taj Safaris. This has resulted in attracting new markets, improving our market coverage, and improving our fiscal performance. At the time when Ginger was launched, the hotel industry was battling with the traditional model of five-star luxury mindset. Despite a 100-year legacy of being a luxury hotel company, the Taj had to radically push the envelope and change our mindset to come up with an innovative design, efficient service standards, and distribution to create a market which was waiting to be tapped. The inspiration of Ginger came from one of our foremost thought leaders of our times, Professor C.K. Prahlad, who promoted the concept of fortune at the bottom of the pyramid. Well, innovation in our people processes have allowed the heart of the house operations in our hotels to feel like front of the house, whether it is uniforms, office design, staff facilities. The lines are blurring, and our people are appreciating the new work culture of the Taj. We encourage our teams not only to think out of the box, but consider that there is no box. I would like to now share a few very basic examples, and pardon the very basicness of the example. But one of the challenges that was being faced by one of our in-room dining teams was getting fresh, hot toast to a guest room for breakfast. After a lot of thought, research, they came up with lots of solutions, but they could not solve the real problem. The team did not give up and came up with an innovative idea of installing a car battery in the room service trolley, which was connected to a toaster, and voila. Guests have fresh, hot toast for breakfast in their room. Another example that comes to mind relates to the current business challenge of spiraling manpower costs and lack of availability of trained resources, especially in places like where we are sitting banquets. One of our banquet teams came up with a concept of a few well-placed dummy waiters in addition to the regular waiting staff. These are wooden stands with arms that hold 2 trays of either beverage or cold snacks or canapes. And voila, when the guest comes out of a conference like you would, you are not looking around for somebody to serve you. You can go and pick it up. It looks like a waiter standing there for you. Innovation by our colleagues in revenue management and distribution has allowed us to increase our market share and add value to our top line. Our chefs, we can't forget them, a very important part of our industry. They are not behind in this movement. New innovative cuisines and presentations like Vark, Tesoro, and Wasabi have allowed us to differentiate ourselves in the extremely competitive food and beverage market. This brings us to the question, how do we motivate our team to come up with innovative solutions, and how do we build a culture of innovation? Being a part of the $108 billion Tata Group has had tremendous opportunities for us in the Taj Group. We have benefited by learning and implementing innovative ideas, not only in operations, but also in a business model. The Tata Business Excellence Model evaluates a company, its products, services, and processes, and throws up opportunities for innovation. This institutionalized approach to innovation helps us to constantly drive innovation in our organization. Senior management commitment to driving innovation plays a very, very important role. Workshops, awareness sessions, live innovation projects driven by cross-functional teams are critical tools to drive innovation in an organization. At the Taj, we have institutionalized the approach of involving all frontline staff in this journey. The Special Thanks and Recognition System, or STARS as we call it, rewards innovative ideas and suggestions. Each team member can earn 20 points for a good idea and a further 20 points in case that idea gets implemented. These points are added over 4 quarters, and upon reaching 1,000 points, the team members reach the Managing Directors Club. In an annual award ceremony held at our flagship, the Taj Mahal Palace in Mumbai, each awardee is felicitated, presented with a certificate, and a cash award of 50,000 rupees. This is followed by an informal interaction with the Managing Director, Mr. Rakesh Sarna. As you can imagine, this motivates team members from engineering, stores, finance, sales, security, besides operations, to ideate and present their ideas and get rewarded for the same. The Tata Innovista initiative allows our teams to learn from other industries in the Tata Group and also encourages us to contribute to innovative solutions to their problems. These initiatives, coupled with the Tata Group Innovation Program headed by Tata Group Chief Technology Officer, provides a platform to make innovation a way of life and a part of work culture in the Tata Group. Dr. Mukund Rajan, member of a Group Executive Council and brand custodian of Tata Sons, mentioned a very interesting facet of innovation in the recently held CII Summit in Make in India. He mentioned that one of the most anticipated awards in the Tata Group Annual Innovation Conclave is called Dare to Try. It's an award which, in fact, rewards failure. For without taking a risk, you will never achieve success. To build a culture of innovation, we need to understand and facilitate the innovator, providing opportunities to interact with multiple agencies, industries, asking questions, and challenging status quo allows them the freedom to open their minds and see the gaps that need to be filled. Clearly, there's a phase that needs them to ideate, and followed by a phase that needs to commercialize that idea for creating value for the organization. This leads me to an important question to us hoteliers, and I guess some of us asked this in the previous session. What are the perils and the pressure on the teams to innovate in the hospitality industry? We should not forget that ultimately we're a people's business, and our guests need to feel rested and relaxed in the hotels. A business traveler who spends 100 nights in hotels is not looking to be dazzled 100 times. He or she wants to get in and get out with the least hassle, and we need to be careful with the use of technology, which can sometimes make guests very uncomfortable. Taking the time up to understand how to make lights operate, showers operate, air conditioning operate, televisions operate, in-room dining operate. It's very good for tech-savvy people, but not everybody is tech-savvy. We need to be careful of implementing technology in guest interface areas. System, processes, technology interventions, robots can and should not take away the personal human touch. The warmth and the element of hospitality of our hotels, and especially in the subcontinent, is extremely important. We maintain the human touch. Keeping things simple is therefore a challenge faced by innovating teams in our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, in this ever-competitive world, there are 3 kinds of organizations. One who watch change happening, a few who make change happen, and sometimes even the best of us wonder what happened. Remaining relevant requires us to innovate and institutionalize innovation. Thus, innovation is not just a buzzword, but it's imperative to success. In the words of our most respected business leader of our times, Mr. Ratan Tata, I'll just say, none can destroy iron, but its own rust can. Likewise, none can destroy a person, but its own mindset can. Our thoughts can change a life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Would request you to stay back for a Q&A. Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Kosla, but we're also opening the house for any questions that our August gathering may have that would like to pose. Request you to please raise your hands and ask the questions. I guess you've left them all spellbound. It seems like there are no questions. Here we have Mr. Puri, our first keynote. Yes.
So Rohit, tell us, by the way, good to see you. It's been a long time.
Great to see you.
So, with the kind of changes in IHCL over the last couple of years, since Rakesh came in and all that, from the whole historical legacy culture, which is Taj, and moving towards where you're going now, How have some of those changes happened, and what has been their impact on some of the things you're talking about, whether it's innovation or understanding, technology, international brands versus domestic brands? Can you just kind of give us some color on that?
Very, very interesting question. I could spend the whole day answering that. See, when you look at change and you look at something that is a legacy, when you look at a hotel company that's over 100 years old, there's a very strong culture that exists in that organization. And obviously, the organization has some strengths which has allowed it to survive the changes over the 100-year period. So when we talk about change in an organization, we should not forget what we have as strengths. And the current way in which we are looking at is we're going back to what our strengths were. And rather than getting confused with what's happening with the onslaught of international players in our markets that we operate, we'd rather go back to what we are good at, and that's hospitality. Hospitality that is influenced by the heritage and the noble traditions of India. And very soon you will see a break in media on what we plan to do for our guests. Internally, for our staff, there has been a total sea change in the way we have dealt with them. Our colleagues, our team members, the value system, the concept of mutual respect, which was over a period of time missing, and I guess gets missing in especially countries like ours, which have very, narrow mindsets where people's gender diversity or geographical diversity or religious diversity is not really looked at. But mutual respect for people is something that is changing in our company. Large companies, old companies, sometimes think that they know it all. Getting fresh blood into the organization, especially in areas in which we were not strong, and whether it is electronic distribution, marketing, web, data analytics. We have a couple of team members who have joined us. They are, in our opinion, one of the best that there in the world, and one of them is from your organization. To change the way we do business. Taj has been a very traditional company, and we need to keep pace with what's happening. But like I said, we do not want to lose touch with who we really are. We have an identity. The Taj has an identity, and we don't want to be confused with the other names that are there on this board. We want to stand alone. We want to stand different. We don't want to be the largest, but we definitely want to be the best at what we do. So that's what things are happening. And like I said, I can be here till the evening, and I can keep on talking about it. And everybody's looking a little bored. This guy's going on and on. So I'll just leave it at that. So when it comes to product, when it comes to people, when it comes to technology, we are addressing that in a very different way. And I'm sure all of you will see that very shortly. Yes, sir.
Could we get an example of innovation from another Tata Group company that has traveled into the Taj that you believe is a success?
Okay. We all have heard of the Nano, right? That is also influenced by the bottom of the pyramid approach. Well, whether the Nano is success or not, that's a different story and a matter of a lot of case studies in business schools. But when it comes to the technology and the ability to be able to generate and create a product at that price point, made us think, and that's the reason why both the thoughts of Ginger and Nano came at the same time, and we learned a lot from each other. And how do we create products? How do we design the rooms? What do we look at the business model? And we learn from each other. And we learn from each other regularly. Like I mentioned, Tata Innovista is an annual program that we all participate in. And that is where we share innovative stories across various industries. It's extremely important because hoteliers sometimes start wearing blinkers and only think about the business that we have been traditionally doing. Today, the world is moving at a different pace, and there's a lot you can learn from others. Yes, please.
Would request you to please identify yourself and the company that you represent. Thank you.
Sure. I am Vikas Kera. I'm the founder and CEO for a company called Thought at Work. We are into business excellence, innovation, customer Delight, those kind of programs. I know Tata follow the Malcolm Baldrige model
Yeah, Malcolm
when it
Baldrige
comes to the
model.
business excellence. So do you follow that in your hotels also? Even
Yes,
changing?
yes, most definitely. The Tata Business Excellence model is a model that all Tata companies have to be evaluated on, and we have been evaluated for many years. I'm personally a certified assessor and a senior business leader for the Tata Business Excellence model, and it's been very interesting for me to go across organizations. As the question previously asked, I did Tata Global Beverages, which was a very interesting business to see. Tata Telecom, which is an earth moving and construction business. These industries are very different, but it's quite interesting to see how they look at customers, what are their learning mechanisms, what are their improvement mechanisms. And I think for any organization to go ahead in life, you have to be a learning organization.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any more questions? Yes, there is time, but
Thank you.
And I just wanted to ask you a very, very basic question. You talked about big data, and I thought we'd like to discuss that. And I'm sure a lot of big data goes into thinking either small or big. I was wondering if you have any demographic profile of the kind of preference that your customers might do for the older section of the Taj in Mumbai and the newer run. Do you see any difference in the way, or do you feel, because I think they are significantly different in the way that you actually look at your customer. And I'm really pleased with it. I've used your Mumbai space a lot.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you had some idea, give us a general idea, because young people like to see this, yeah.
You see, like innovation, big data is also a buzzword today, right? And there's very limited understanding of what big data analytics can do for you. We are in a pretty nascent stage in our company on this journey, but the journey has started, it has begun. It won't be appropriate for me to give you any preliminary responses to what we have understood, but I can tell you that the power of data is amazing, and I don't think I can reiterate that even more, but more importantly is the quality of data. And today, we are not struggling with analyzing data, we are struggling with the quality of the data that we are analyzing. Because for big data, it's data that is historical, it's not something that you picked up today, it's over the decades that you have, and that not all the data talks to each other at the same time, not all data has the same specifics. So the challenges that we're facing in big data is history, right? So going forward with technology and with single platforms that we have, things become easier to analyze. But our challenge is to convert the 100-year legacy data into real-time data today. So that's a challenge. I need to be honest with you.